mate. You right?
Hi, Steve. How are you today?
Yeah, not bad. You?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. I can't complain. It's a beautiful. The weather has finally got warm in Australia. How is it over in your neck of the woods?
Actually, I'm in Perth and it's pissing down the rain.
Well, we can't all win. I guess Perth, it almost feels like a different country compared to the East Coast over here. It's so far away. But how are you enjoying your stay down there so far, besides the rain?
You ain't been here long, but yeah, I mean it's just like England, the weather. but yeah, it's quite funny. But yeah,
You can't always win. I guess you got to kind of bring the weather with you sometimes, don't you?
yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
No, but Steve, it is so good to have you here today. I can't believe it. After all this time, getting you back down to Australia. I know you were meant to be here in 2020, but we all know what happened there. Um, have you missed it? Have you missed coming down all this way? I know it's a long flight. Is it getting any easier over the years, or is it's still hard as ever?
Well, it's a long way, but I mean it's not so bad. Just flying to Perth direct from London is not so bad really. It's the longest flight I've ever done in my life, but it was actually not too bad at all.
Well, that's good. We've got to take some wins here. And this is a question I really want to ask you because you're finally bringing British Lion to Australia, which is amazing. I know fans have been wanting it for the longest time. Back in 2020, were you ever flirting with the idea of actually bringing British Lions, or is this just something you've kind of thought about this time around?
Well, to be honest, I mean, I've just wanted to get the band, wherever possible, really, and wherever it made sense and I'm physically able to do it, but time available. That's the thing, really. So when I looked at this tour, I thought, well, there is days off where beforehand, where I can just fit the gigs in. So that's what we've done. And obviously for the rest of, I mean, obviously I've been indoors many times, but the rest of the lads, it's the first time here, so they're really, really excited about it as well.
Is there any
And I'm
way?
excited because it's the first time with this band. So yeah, I'm excited for all of it. I mean, I'm looking forward to Maiden and British Lion for
And it's
two different reasons. But
and it's one of those things too. It's like you're kind of bringing it's a whole new thing. Like, does it ever feel different playing like British Lion compared to Iron Maiden? Like, you've been in the music industry for well over 40 years now. Is it kind of different to play these British Lion shows where you're playing these club shows where you can actually see the people in the venue, you can see the faces while you're playing? Because compared to me, like I was at Wacken last year, for example, stuck in the mud, couldn't move. I'm assuming when you're playing such a massive show like that, you can't see every individual person. Do you feel a bit more of a connection when you're down here, or when you're playing with British Lion?
yeah, I mean, obviously I enjoy playing shows of all sizes, whether festivals, arenas with Maiden, or clubs shows, to a few hundred people or whatever with British Lion. I'll enjoy playing them all, but I suppose that takes me back to the day, with Maiden, of trying to break through at that level, and so it's a lot of it takes me back. So it's nice. It's just I'm very lucky I can play all those levels. I suppose not many people can say that, but it's just fantastic. We do them all.
No, it really is. And it's funny, you mentioned the schedule earlier before, and I was looking at it, I was like, you really must just hate having days off. Like, yeah,
Well, there's still on a few of them. There's still like, well, I suppose it's not really a total day off because it's a travel day, but I get that night off. I still got a bit of that going on, so it's not too bad. I can still go down a pub or something with the lads. But no, I mean, I just enjoy playing. So every opportunity to play, and people think, oh, you're going to knock yourself out and be tired for Maiden. No, not at all. It's actually totally the opposite. Whenever I play with British Lion or I'm playing football or whatever, it actually fires me up. It gets me match fit for Maiden. So it's totally the opposite. Because it's just better to jump around or do something and be out there physically doing something rather than sitting around in a hotel room.
and that's exactly right. I've traveled a lot myself, and I know that if you actually, you relax too much in between your big activity days, your muscles freeze up, you don't loosen up. So I guess you're doing the correct thing in keeping yourself active. Yeah, I know it's kind of the end of the season down here, but are you going to try and sneak a game of football in anywhere while you're down?
Yeah, hopefully going to try and sneak a game in. I think possibly here in Perth. Um, that's what someone's trying to set something up, but. It's just, I think we'll have to a couple of two or three of us will have to play for somebody else because we don't have like Raven Age are not supporting us on this tour. So there's four players out of Raven Age that we've lost. So it's we don't have a nucleus of a side really anymore. So, but hopefully we can guess for somebody else.
I was going to say, I guess you can't really convince the kill switch engage guys to do it because, being American, they're probably not too familiar with this version of football compared to their version of football. So, that'd be funny if you could convince
Well,
one of them.
I haven't asked them, but yeah, my guess would be. I think you're probably right. They probably don't play, but you never. I mean, you never know. Maybe one of them might be, or something. It's unusual though. Most American bands don't. They don't really play much football, or not that type of football. Anyway,
It's a testament to you that you keep so active doing all these things. Like it's amazing, and it shows because and just as kind of turn away for a bit, it just shows the Iron Maiden shows, for example, they're still full of energy. I first saw you guys back in 2008 on the Somewhere Back in Time tour in Sydney, and it's just kind of crazy that I saw you last year at Buchan, and the energy almost feels the same. I just can't believe it. Do you have some secret source that you guys just know what you're doing, or is it just because you guys are?
really, it's just. I think Wacken actually was the last show on the tour of that tour. So if you don't know what you're doing by that time, I suppose you should give up and do the tour. But I think that, the first couple of weeks is always the toughest fitness wise of any tour because you can. I mean, I go running and I still play football and tennis and everything like that, whatever. But you can't really train for what you do on stage. So you just have to get out there and do it. So it is tough the first 2 weeks, I think. But once you get into it and you get into your stride, it's just all right. I mean, it's also the first 2 weeks is also exciting because for that very reason as well. It can be a little bit edgy because you're still sort of finding your feet, I suppose. I think a lot of the fans come along hoping there's going to be a couple of mistakes here and there that they can talk about for the rest of their days. But hopefully that won't happen from our point of view. But it is what it is. I mean, you still sort of it doesn't matter how much you rehearse or get ready or whatever you do, whatever preparation. There's nothing like playing a live show. So.
And that's it as well. Like human error is kind of a bit of the magic of a live show because you can go to a band, and I don't want to talk about it too much, but with backing tracks and everything as well, it gets a bit too heavy. But when you start noticing little mistakes like that every now and then, it just kind of adds a human touch to it all. It's real, it's genuine, you're there in the moment. It's just something special. And speaking of something special, and getting back to these shows, do you have any different preparation going on stage for British Lion, for example, compared to Maiden? Because they are completely different beasts at the end of the day.
Well, we've never used backing tracks with either band. The songs, live, they like to move. They move up and down a little bit here and there, light and shade and stuff. It's not rigid like with a backing track. We've never used them. That's why it made me laugh at one point where, on the last tour, I actually fell over on stage in Leeds and during the Stranger in the Strangeland. But because I was playing an open E, I still was able to carry on hitting it, and people thought, he didn't cut out. He must be playing the backing tracks. Well, I've never played a backing track, but I managed to get myself up a bit sharpish anyway. But I was just playing open E, so it wasn't really a problem. But if I'd been playing something a bit more complicated, then they probably would have heard it cut out. But I mean, as far as preparation goes, it's just you can't really. I mean, whether it be a big show, small show, whatever. Fitness-wise, I go running. I keep fit by playing football and tennis or whatever whenever I can. But you can't really prepare, properly for a. Well, you can rehearse. I mean, obviously we rehearse, but it's not the same as playing to an audience. So, in fact, with British Lion earlier in the year, we were supposed to have a couple of rehearsals when I came back to England, and I just said, what, it's just go and do a couple of gigs. It's like rehearsal with an audience kind of thing. And we'd only played a few weeks before that anyway, so, and it was exciting. It was really exciting to do that. And no, there wasn't really any mistakes either, which I thought was pretty good. But it's nice to have an edge and a little bit of excitement to it.
How are the boys feeling in British Lion about playing their first Australian shows? Are they over right now, or are they coming back down a bit later?
They're coming down later, but they're very excited, obviously, because they've never been here before, let alone played here. So they're really excited on all fronts. And I'm excited for them because I've been here many times, but I never get fed up with coming back to places, whatever country it is. I always enjoy being there. But obviously, it's been like 8 years or something since we've been here. But yeah, I mean, it's just nice to see it through their eyes for the first time. It's really nice to see.
And you mentioned you've been down here numerous times. Is there anything you want to take the British Lion boys to go see while they're down here? Because we do have a lot of beautiful landmarks. I'm not going to lie, Australia is quite a beautiful country.
Oh, yeah, it's a stunning country. It's just a question. Well, actually, they will have more time than I will, because obviously I'm gigging with Maiden, so I'll be preparing for that the following day after each British Lions show. But yeah, they'll have an opportunity to go out and about and see a lot more of the stuff. So yeah, I will be giving them a few pointers, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, I haven't really been able to see enough of it myself, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think a lot of people miss that. It's like, even though you're touring as a band, at the end of the day, it is a job, and it's not that you show up an hour before you go on stage. It is really a full day to kind of get ready for, especially for Maiden. Like a Maiden gig, I imagine in my head, just must take up the majority of the whole day.
Well, actually, it's the opposite. It's the opposite. Because, well, at the start of a tour, it's not. But like, we're 2 or 3 gigs in, really, we don't do sound checks with Maiden anymore because the venues the way they are. The stage is set to exactly the same size, width and depth wise, and all that. So it's just really line checks that you need to do, and from one venue to another, the ambience will be different, and the amount of people or whatever. So it you settle down much quicker in your head if you've not done a sound check, funny enough. As long as you know everything's going to be working, which our crew are so good that we know that's going to be the case. But with British Lion, it's not like that. On that level, you're playing different venues, and they're so different from one night to another. So you have to do sound checks. So there's a lot more hanging about and doing sound checks and stuff with British Lion than there is with Maiden, which is why with Maiden, sometimes quite often I'll play football matches on a show day, Maiden show day. So because there's the time to do it. British Lion, there isn't.
Which is, and the fact that you said that shocked me. So I'm sure that's going to shock a lot of listeners listening to this when it goes live as well. That it's just you kind of forget that. Yeah, and I got a lot of bands that are local bands that probably go, yeah, when you're starting up again, you're doing these club shows, you really got to be invested. But do you enjoy doing that? Is a big question as well, because it is. I guess that's something you wouldn't have had to have done for the longest time.
Well, I don't enjoy all the hanging about, if I'm honest, but because but I don't mind doing the sound checks. Really, don't bother me at all. And then once you're there, quite often, just end up staying there. And if you've got a really good support like Tony Moore, for example, I really enjoy seeing, I'll just stick around and just watch that as well. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You just got to do what you do to make the show right. I mean, with Maiden, it's not like we don't care or anything like that or spend the time. We don't need to. We've got such a good crew, and they're all great players, and they know what our levels are and everything inside out. So it's just they're able to do that. Me and Bruce are the ones that tend to go down the shows earlier than anyone else because we've just got other stuff we need to do. But mostly it's just, as I said, our crew are just really efficient, so really very good, and they're all good players too. So they sometimes when they're doing the sound check, they got their own little band. They do stuff, and it's quite entertaining.
So you're in good hands, is what you're saying at the end of the day, is that you're in good hands. But one thing I want to touch on, because I know I don't have a lot more time with you tonight, but what I want to ask as well, for people that are on the fence about seeing British Lion live, this is your Australian debut show down here. It is going to be exciting because when you play somewhere for the first time, there's a bit of nervous energy, maybe not yourself, but maybe some of the boys. There's a lot of excitement because it's the first time a lot of people ever see this band live. But for the people that are on the fence, what can people expect at a British Lion show that's different to an Iron Maiden show?
Well, obviously it's just that close, contact and everything. And it's it's a rock, it's quite different. I mean, but it's a rock band, and it's a really good band. It's a good live band with really good songs. good, honest performances, and I think you won't be disappointed if just turn up, give the band a chance, and we'll prove what we can do. That's all I can say, really.
No, that is fantastic, mate. But I will ask one more question before I let you go this evening. I know you're a busy man, but is there any more music in the pipeline? I know British Lion's last album came out, I believe, was 2020. Senjutsu came out, what, 2021, 2022? Now I'm losing track of time myself. I forget what year it is. But do you still write consistently?
Well, British Lion have got 2 new songs in the set that we're doing. And we've got other ideas. Maiden, we haven't got any new songs in the set or anything like that. But, with both bands, we'll have to see about the new albums or whatever. But certainly with British Lion, there will be, gradually we'll be working in new songs live, because that's what we like to do, because the songs take on a whole different sort of feel, really, when you start playing them live. That's what we found, which is why we played most of the songs off the Burning live before we recorded them.
Ah, that's interesting. Yeah, I guess when you get the audience reaction, some parts work, some parts don't work, and some parts it can explore. I didn't even think of that. That's very interesting. That's kind of cool that you get that experience to be able to do that, and you can go in and tweak things the way you like it as well. Is that what you like to do with that?
It's not really, no. It's not that you end up changing stuff or tweaking it. It's just that when you play stuff live, it just gets better.
Yeah.
It just does. So when you record it, it's just got a much more of a live feel to it. So, for example, the 2 new songs we've been playing, the last 2, we played a tour in January with UK tour, quite a long one, with British Lion, and a couple of other gigs since then. And the 2 new songs have, really come on. They just feel different to when we first did them. So it's not that we've changed the arrangements. It's just they just feel better.
Just a bit more energy put into them.
Yeah, they just, I don't know, I can't even explain it really, but they just do feel better.
Well, that's the magic of music sometimes. It's you can't explain everything. So that's fantastic. Look, Steve, I know you're busy. I will let you go. This has been fantastic. Is there anything you wanted to say to the people over on the Sydney side that will be watching this probably tomorrow morning, to be honest with you? Anything you want to say before I let you go?
Yeah, just come down to the gig, check us out, and I think you'll really enjoy it.
Beautiful. You have been fantastic. I cannot wait. I am going to both British Lion on the Wednesday, and I'll be seeing Iron Maiden on the Thursday, and I'll be very tired on the Friday. So I look forward to it.
Yes, me too. Cheers.
Cheers, mate. You have a good evening. Thank you.
Yeah, you too. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Bye.